Welcome back, you beautiful people. This is the weekend episode of Market Watch, and we are going to get stuck right into this. I have a lot of things to show you guys today. Want to try and make it as quick as possible. Don't want to waste your guys' time because it is valuable. We are going to start off looking at some charts, looking at our market data for SPX and a couple of key tickers. We have some huge transactions that went through the books that I'd like to go over with you guys. Also have some key macro data for us to have a look at, some macro charts on Bitcoin and for the S&P 500. So without further ado, guys, let's get stuck right into it and not waste anyone's time here. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is the chart for SPX, S&P 500. What we can actually see happened in the last trading session is we gapped up. We had this insane gap up. And with this gap up, we actually broke out of this huge descending trend line. Now, it doesn't look too fluid on the 1 hour chart, but if I go back to the daily chart, what you can see right now is it's actually a perfect trend line. And you can see if I turn my indicator off, we actually gapped straight out of it. And we sort of had this real neutral candle at the top. So there's now a lot of indecision. So now we've just got to wait and see what happens next. Now, what should happen next? Let me see what I can see here. So if we go back and we put my indicator back on, what we can see is once we gapped up, we went straight up to this supply zone that was created off these candles here, and the market went up. And as soon as it came into these zones, you can see we had 3 touches, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches actually, and each of these candles struggling with this zone. So there's a lot of sellers here. So what we're actually looking for is one of two things right now for some continuation. We are right now back down in this demand zone, which has just been created from this huge gap up. Ideally, we see some sort of consolidation on this and then a bounce up back to this zone, and then we break straight through it. That is sort of what we're looking for. That will be the ultimate bullish indication right now that this market wants to go higher. Right now we're touching the demand zone, so yes, we can fall back into it some more, or we could bounce from right here. So this will be very interesting to see how that there actually plays out moving forward. Just want to quickly go over ETHT, which is the Ethereum ProShares ETF. Now, it is not a spot ETF, but it is the best thing we can sell options on for trying to get exposure to Ethereum. Now, if I just bring up my spreadsheet right here, you can see that I have been selling options on this, and I have done 3 contracts, and they have the 2 of them just actually expired there on Friday, which was big because look at this, guys. I collected $310 and $320 for just one contract. Okay, just for one contract of these trades, which means I made a 15.5 and a 13.9% return on my initial investment just with these 2 contracts. Now, why is this so good? Well, as you can see, I had the 23 and the 21 strike. Price right now is at 23.26 on Friday's close. Now, this is so good for me because as soon as this closed and as soon as my contracts expired, let's have a look at what happened on the Ethereum chart. Bam, look at that. So we actually went from these highs up here, which is where this contract expired, and we are right now down from the high of this candle 6.7%. Okay, so now if we go back to ETHT and we draw our little line, 6.7%, that would bring us to about here. But however, I want you to remember this is 2x leverage. So we're going to go down 13%. So ETHT right now is roughly back down at about 20. Okay, which means I'm going to go back in again and sell more of these puts. So if we come into our broker and have a look at a month out, what are we realistically going to get paid? So right now we're at 20, but I want to go right at the money. So obviously I'm not going to see what I'm going to be able to get paid until the options chain opens. But if I was to come in and see right here, the 23 put, it's going to pay me about $400. I know the bid-ask spread is really wild, but you can actually push these quite high up the bid-ask spread and get filled. That's how I was able to get such good fills in the last one. we're probably going to be able to collect another $300 to $400 by selling right at the money, and we should be able to get the 20 strike. That is absolutely fantastic, and I do think Ethereum is going to be higher than where it is now in a month. So again, 2 contracts of that will pay me another $600 to $800, and I'm going to be very, very happy with that. Next up, we have some huge transactions hitting the table. Just want to go over these in case you guys find any information that you might like to bring into your own trades or your own thesis for market direction. IWM Russell 1000 Value ETF, we can see that the second biggest transaction since last year, since the start of last year, has hit the table. 4.88 million shares, or almost $1 billion, 925 million. It has come in just off these lows, so you can see we have had this huge bounce on IWM, and then this huge transaction comes in. So personally, I'm leaning towards it. This is probably a buy. IBIT on the Bitcoin spot ETF, we have also had one of the biggest transactions on record come in. You can see right here, number 5, the 5th largest transaction. We have had 4.48 million shares, $268 million has hit in this one transaction. As you can see, we had one come in right below. It pushed up higher. Now we had this one coming in at the highs. I know it's at the highs, which is usually an indication of a sell. However, with IBIT, I do personally believe this one is probably a buy, and I will show you exactly why now. And you can see these transactions are coming in around here. But look, we've had this breakout. I think all-time high is very, very close. And guys, remember, we have the Donald Trump inauguration on Monday, which is tomorrow. That is going to be our catalyst for this. In terms of Bitcoin, we also have our liquidation heat map. As you guys know, Bitcoin loves to find its liquidity. It always tends to go to where the liquidity is, grab that liquidity, and then it can reverse. Is right here, we have quite a lot of liquidity above us. We have a few $1 million of short liquidity right above us for the market to go up and tap, coming in at around 105,000 to 105,500. We have another big batch of liquidity up at 110,000, which I believe is around our all-time high. We have on the long side, we have some long liquidity to get grabbed down at the $97,000 range. And we have a decent chunk sitting around 102,200, right at around this here low. Okay, so we have quite a lot of liquidity to grab there. On the 17th, on the Friday, we had $975 million of inflows throughout all of the ETFs. Again, this is looking very, very bullish. We can see that BlackRock actually had 375.9 million in inflows. Absolutely fantastic. Another huge transaction on NVDA hit the table. 19.8 million shares, $2.72 billion, guys. Let's have a little look at the NVDA chart and see what we can find on this. So here's the daily chart, and on the Friday we are seeing right here, if I put on my indicator, you can see we are just coming out of demand, and the price action just is starting to rise. We're starting to get those EMA crosses. Personally, I believe this is likely going to be a buy, and I think that NVIDIA is certainly going to push higher, and if we can look at the GEX levels, that will explain to you guys why I believe that. Okay, here's the options data for NVIDIA, and what we can see right now is we're sitting in positive gamma right now. The price is very likely to push up to, I believe, 140. 140, if you look at this, we have a huge call wall here for the next expiry at 140. I think it is extremely likely that we see the 140 get touched, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. To the put side, we have some support coming in at 130. 130 is our largest support. But again, if you look at the comparison, we are heavily skewed. We are heavily one-sided towards the calls. So I do think 140 is going to get touched. If we go back to the chart, how far away is 140? 140 is this key level right here, okay? So I think this key level right here is pretty much a cert to get touched at this point. We have a very small supply zone to get through, but I don't think that will cause any issues whatsoever. If we drop down to the 1 hour chart, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, okay, so we're in this zone right now. I don't think this is going to cause any issues. I think we're going to break straight up and go straight to this zone. And then you can see I've actually got this marked out as a key level on my chart as well, because of the fact we have had so many touch points of this. So you can see that we've key touches here, key touches here, key touches here, and a key touch back here. So I think that is a key level. Our key support, again, coming in at 130. Not only is it coming in on the GEX at 130, but it's also a key level on this chart. So you can see that these two are getting tied together very nicely. You can see how you can link them together and the confluence. And when we see confluence, that is what makes us very, very happy as traders. Now, just to end this episode, I want to have a look at a couple macro charts with you guys. This is the percent of stocks with a MACD buy signal. Okay, so that's whenever the MACD flips to a buy signal, your little MACD indicator. And what this is showing is overwhelming strength on the S&P 500. Now, why? When the percent of stocks with a MACD buy signal flips over this line, which is around like the 38% or something, you can see what that usually indicates. So let's go back a little bit, okay? So right here, it happened. Now this was in a downtrended market, so even still though, when this happened, we did get a little bit of bounce. Right here it happened, about here we did continue higher. Right here it happened. Right here we did continue higher. Right here we continued a lot higher. Right here, and then if you look while we're in the bullish momentum market, you can see when this crossed right here, you can see what happened. We went on this huge run. Right here, we went on this huge run. Right here again, huge run. Right here, this one here actually marked pretty much the bottom. Right here. So what happens is when you're coming out of a correction, when the market is coming out of a correction and then you get this buy signal, that usually means that all of the stocks coming out of the correction are now starting to flip to a buy signal, and it tends to push the market a lot higher. We've just crossed this and we're just coming out of this correction. So is this about to push the market much higher? Well, it's not for us to say, but we can certainly watch. Let's not predict, let's react to what happens, and we can trade the charts. Total crypto market cap chart, and this is on the weekly time frame. So what you guys can see is from the 2018 bull market high until the 2022 bull market high, what you can see there was 1400 days. So if we're looking at this, if this fractal actually plays out, what we can see is 1400 days from this top. 1400 days would be all the way up here, closing in on 2026, which gives us almost another full year of this run. You can see we had the bullish cross before the most parabolic part. You can see we're just having the bullish cross right now. So in theory, if this fractal plays out, the total crypto market cap is due for the most parabolic section of this bull run. Guys, I can't stress this enough. This is why I'm so heavily invested into Bitcoin and into crypto right now, is I don't think we have had the most parabolic phase of this crypto bull run yet. I think it is coming. I think we just have to wait. It is a matter of time. And you guys know, to play this, I've been selling puts on MicroStrategy, but also selling calls on MicroStrategy because I think that stock is a heap of garbage. Selling puts on IBIT. I've been wheeling IBIT heavily. We have been making bank on that. We're going to continue to do that. But I do have a huge hodl bag of Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. That was today's episode of the Market Watch. If you guys are liking me doing these little daily update videos, please let me know in the description. Remember to come and join the Discord. In our Discord, I do call everything out, all of my trades. I did double the account last year. Here's where I post all of my trades. Everything is posted here. Here's the MSTX trade that I actually made a YouTube video of. Collected $329 making that. Everything is posted in here. I am very, very open and honest about all the wins, all the losses. If I actually come into our trade history section, our weekly recap, here is the trade since Christmas. 32 wins, 1 loss, and 2 rolls. Absolutely fantastic, guys. You don't want to miss out on this. So hopefully I will see you over there. Link in the description. And until next one, see you later, guys.